Today we're going to be talking about those. So, the MCU. We know it. Some people love it. I wonder what I think. But obviously it adapts stories from comics. Duh. But they don't really adapt them that much. So I thought I'd compare these two comics, specifically Infinity Gauntlet and Civil War, to their movie counterpart. Specifically Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. And Endgame, I guess, because that's kind of in there too. Let's go. Let's start with Civil War. MCU-wise, that was first. This comic's very divisive. People do not like the way that Iron Man was portrayed in this comic. That is the general consensus with this comic. People do not like the way Iron Man was in this comic. They feel he was very out of character, whereas in the movie, it kind of makes sense. You would actually be surprised when reading this. It's not really like the movie, sure, but there is actually quite a few things that are taken almost beat for beat from the comic in the movie. Like the way that Iron Man begins to, go off is because a mum of someone or whatever comes up to him and says, hey, you are the reason that my son is killed or whatever. It's the same sort of thing. And yes, like the way that it's not the Sokovia Accords, it's the Superhuman Registration Act. They are kind of different things, but they the Superhuman Registration Act was more, revealing your identity to the public, blah, 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 blah. The Sokovia Accords were just signing a little piece of paper and making sure the government controls the Avengers. And yeah, the thing with this comic is that it's a bit different in that way, and also it involves more characters because A, it can be a longer story because it's a comic, not a 2.5 hour movie, but also Captain America Civil War came out when Marvel or Disney didn't own Fox, so they couldn't use the Fantastic Four or the X-Men. They did use Spider-Man though, although Spider-Man obviously plays a bigger part in this. And this is the thing you might notice with a lot of comics. There's like a million tie-in comics. I haven't read the tie-in comics, I've only read this part of it. I do plan on reading the tie-in comics at some point, but I haven't done that yet. So I only really know what happens here and the death of Captain America, I think, which happens after this. Like, there's a comic run or whatever called that. So I know about those. The movie does it better, I think, in most cases. I think this does a better way of showing the entire universe, but that's purely just because they owned more, like they could do anything. They owned all their characters, big shock. And there are, some shocking twists or whatever, where characters switch sides. They don't really switch sides in the movie. Black Widow kinda does, but not really. I don't necessarily want to spoil some of the twists in this, but I will. So there's like a Thor robot that I think Iron Man made, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Why'd he do that? I don't know. That doesn't happen in the movie. And then there's this whole thing about, it's not the raft, or is it? No, there's like a thing where the Fantastic Four go through a portal. Is not coming to me. I call it the Phantom Zone. That's Superman. What is it called? Whatever it is, that prison plays a big part into this story. And then there's also the whole, Peter Parker revealing the fact that he's Spider-Man to the world. That's a big thing that doesn't happen in the comics. And that supposedly Peter Parker did it, voluntarily, according to Reed Richards right here. And I think, that's the thing that people have an issue with in this comic, is that a lot of people just seem out of character. I haven't read a lot of the comics around this. I will, as I said, eventually. I've kind of read, like, the early comics, and then, like, the modern ones, but not, like, the in-the-middle ones. I guess these are in the middle, but they're, like, the only two from the in-the-middle period. But yeah, that's that. There's actually, I've just remembered, there's a third comic I could talk about here, but I'll get it after I talk about the Infinity Gauntlet. So yeah, the movie does better than Civil War. Infinity Gauntlet, I'm gonna be honest, I thought it got a bit boring halfway through because I didn't really care. It's very different to the movie. The opening is kind of similar, where the Silver Surfer crashes through the Sanctum Sanctorum and tells Doctor Strange and Wong that Thanos is coming, and obviously in Infinity War it's the Hulk instead of the Silver Surfer, because same reason as they didn't use Fantastic Four in Civil War. But like Thanos' entire reasoning behind doing it is completely different. He wants to impress Death, there's Mephisto, There's more characters in this. Half of them disappear, but then they come back. And the characters that do disappear and the ones that don't are completely different. They're called Infinity Gems. The colors are different. Like the colors aren't different, but the Power Stone is green or whatever. The Mind Stone is blue. The Time Stone's red. The Reality Stone's yellow. Space Stone's purple. And maybe Power Stone's pink. And Souls. They're not right. I think the Space Stone? No, Power Stone. Yeah, Space Stone is blue. Yeah. See what I mean? It's different. I don't know why they changed it. Whatever, who cares? What I was trying to get to is the list of characters that disappear. It's also 90s or 80s Spider-Man. I think this was 80s, was it? Or is it 90s? I think it's 80s. Anyway, I don't know. I don't really like this art. I like the 60s art, and I like the modern art. I don't know how to feel about this. It just feels too flat, but maybe that's just me. This also has, like, Eros in it. You know, Harry Styles from Eternals. There's Quasar. There's the gods and stuff. I swear, there was like a page where the Avengers or whatever were looking at a screen and it had all the ones that died. The cover has a lot of characters, and I think the ones that are on the screen were the ones that disappeared. You got like Daredevil, Black Panther, The Thing, Luke Cage, Captain America, but he's right there. Beast, Quicksilver, Human Torch, Hawkeye, Hercules. Is that the Silver Surfer? No, I don't think so. It's just another silver guy. Reed Richards, Medusa, Beast, I think I already said that one. Dazzler, and a few others. Yeah, I found this really boring, to be honest. I think that's a hot take, though. I don't actually know if people like this. It wasn't terrible, for the record. It wasn't, like, awful. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. I don't think I really like the cosmic stuff that much, because I read the first issue of Imperial, which is a newish comic written by Jonathan Hickman, who did Secret Wars. I can't compare the Secret Wars comic to the movie yet, because it's not out yet. And it was fine. There were some stories, because it was like from multiple characters' perspectives and whatever. There were some characters' perspectives that I thought were quite interesting, but then there were some that just I didn't care. The Hulk, She-Hulk section I didn't care for, but the Star-Lord section I thought was actually quite good. It was kind of a mixed bag, and I think that series is seen as being quite good. Ultimate Invasion I thought wasn't that interesting, but I do like the Ultimate Spider-Man that followed it, as well as I kind of like all of the Ultimate ones that followed it. Ultimate Black Panther's okay, but I like the other ones. I've only read Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Black Panther. Ultimate X-Men is kind of fun, but that's not what this video is about. We're talking about the MCU, so who cares? The movie's better. The third comic. I should also mention that there's obviously more, and there's some that I own that I haven't read yet. Like, I'm pretty sure Hawkeye Life as a Weapon is what the show is based on, but considering it's not even out of the plastic wrap yet, I clearly haven't read it yet, have I? Devil's Reign is what I wanted to talk about. Now, this one's a bit interesting because we haven't really seen it yet. I'm assuming this is what Daredevil Born Again Season 2 will be, but we start to see the start of it in Season 1. I think it'll be a very interesting comic to see. Obviously, we're not going to have Iron Man, Captain America, and Spider-Man in it, and the Invisible Woman, and Miles Morales, and the Human Torch. For most, because he's dead, old, owned by Sony, in a different universe. But we could see Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil and Elektra. And Danny Rand has a cameo, I think, in this too. As in Danny Rand Iron Fist. This will be a really interesting one. It is very relevant right now. My god, when I read this. I think this is the best one out of the three I showed before. This was a very good comic. And again, I've only read this part of it. There are tie-in comics and whatever. I really, really enjoyed Devil's Reign. It was far. It's basically sort of similar to Civil War, but done like extremely better. So I will be very excited when Daredevil Born Again Season 2 does this. And I imagine they're gonna kind of bleed it over into Spider-Man Brand New Day and the Punisher special presentation. This storyline, because obviously, although it involves the Daredevils, because this is when Elektra was also Daredevil, it, involves other characters, so it'd be interesting to see this event from other characters' perspectives, because it's all about Wilson Fisk becoming mayor of New York and outlawing superheroes. Originally, that was like they outlawed superheroes under the age of 18, which I think was the result of Civil War II or something. I don't know. I've read the Champions run that happens after Civil War II, I think, but I haven't read, so I've read the first issue of Civil War II. People do not like Civil War II, in case you're wondering. But yeah, that's all I have to say. This is a bit of a jumbled mess, but hey, whatever. Maybe one day I'll get to tell you my opinion on Hawkeye, my life as a weapon. Is this even the right one? I don't know. I bought it for like maybe $5. It comes with Hawkeye issues 1 to 5 and Young Avengers Presents issue 6. So I hope that's the right one.